I like a quote by Anna Winter, who recently on Masterclass came out with a phenomenal lesson on leadership. She says, "You are nothing without the team." What a quote. You are nothing without your team. You are nothing without a great team. You are zero. So anyone who thinks I'm the boss, I drive, and my people do what I ask them to do, and I get results, what a shame. Because obviously that person has not an ounce of leadership IQ. Because if they did, they would know that it's not their efforts alone that move people along. Does there need to be process? Absolutely. Does there need to be order and structure? Absolutely. But those are not the things that unlock the door of innovation and creativity. Those are not the things that move the company in bounds and leaps light years ahead. It is not. Management, maintain, administrate, leadership, develop, innovate. Management, focus on systems and structure. Leadership, focus on relationships. Management, rely on control. Leadership, inspire trust. You see these words: innovate, relationships, trust. These are the things that call our attention to the fact that humans on a project need to be led and influenced, different from physical resources on a project which need to be controlled. Big difference. Management, focus on near-term goals. Ask how and when. Leadership, focus on long-range vision. Ask what and why. Management, focus on the bottom line. Leadership, focus on the horizon. Management, accept the status quo, do things right. Versus leadership, challenge the status quo, do the right things. It's a play on words, but it's deep. Do things right versus challenge the status quo, do the right things. And that's why management focuses on process, procedures, and guidelines. Leadership focuses on the essence, the deeper understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. The book says, follow this control. Leadership asks, is that really what we should be doing? Is that in the best interest of diversity? Is that in the best interest of innovation? Is that in the best interest of strategic alignment? And that's a huge difference. Do things right or do the right things. Leadership comes up with what needs to be done. I like a quote from Steve Jobs again, and he says, why join the Navy when you can be a pirate? When you can be a leader? Why follow blindly when you can create a new path? It goes a long way to explain why he was how he was. But what a profound quote. Management focus on operational issues and problem solving. Leadership focus on vision, alignment, motivation, and inspiration. So when you take a look at this juxtaposition of management versus leadership, it becomes a lot clearer what the differences are. In order to lead, you need to be thinking about the people piece of the equation, the people part of the equation. Still on management versus leadership, John Kotter and James Heskett in Corporate Culture and Performance listed organizations that had made major cultural changes The leaders of these organizations first had to realize that change was needed. Then they had to communicate to employees the facts that pointed to a crisis or potential crisis so the employees would perceive the need to change. Finally, as Cotter and Hesketh described, these leaders developed or clarified their visions of what changes were needed. After perceiving some minimum readiness on the part of their managers, the leaders then began communicating their visions of what changes were necessary. The visions always carried some general message about key constituencies, especially customers. Also included was information about more specific strategies and practices that were seen as needed to deal with the current business climate or competitive situations. As the leaders' visions and strategies were conveyed, they won allies and became role models for other managers. The ability to change and play a useful leadership role signals that others could also. Such leaders are often called transformational leaders because they are able to create fundamental changes in their organizations, missions, visions, values, and cultures. And we could go on and on and on talking about this. Plunkett, Atler, and Allen did a great job compiling all of this information. But now I want to show you a diagram from this book that enables you to see why and how you should have both qualities: the ability to manage, the ability to lead, the ability to manage a system, a process, a procedure, but at the same time, the importance of leadership. So let's go to the whiteboard here. We can view the world of management and leadership like this. Let's use red for leadership ability. And let's use black for management ability. Now, this section right here, this refers to people with leadership ability. People with leadership ability, but are not managers. And that is right over here. Over here, these are people with management ability. I guess you know where I'm going with this. People with management ability but are not leaders. Okay. Now, there is a cross section of individuals who have both leadership and management ability. And in the beginning, I asked you to hold on and let me land, because you very well could operate at high efficiency in both realms. So these are people who have both leadership ability and management ability. A quote from my mentor, John Maxwell, says, "Leadership develops daily, not in a day." So folks who fall into this region here and this region here can take actionable steps to get into this region over here. Those who are on the left-hand side of the screen, the far left, they too can make an effort to go from here to here with actionable steps. There are many leaders who are not good managers, and for that reason, they employ good managers to balance up the equation. There are many folks who have got great managerial skills, but they do not have the people part of the equation down. And we can find many examples of this if we look closely in companies, maybe even our company. There needs to be a balance. Leaders need to get a balance. So if you're a leader, you're not able to manage systems, processes, and procedures, you need someone who can administrate. I have seen this everywhere, from offices, from management in offices, finding out that they need leaders, people who can get into the people's well-being and psyche and understand emotions and things like that. And they employ people to do that. I've also seen in religious institutions, people who are great at leaders, but they're just hopeless at administrating. They bring in an administrator, a manager, someone who can put some order and structure to things. Because even if you've got great team members, A-list performers, people who are very innovative, if you do not have the management piece, the structure, the order, the process, the procedures, the timing, the planning, doing things at the right time, if there's no balance between leadership and management, an organization could very well fall flat. It's not all about the innovative side of the company. It's not all about creating. What happens when you create and there's no deliberateness and no intentionality behind your sales, behind your planning, behind your preparing for that next fiscal year? If there's no solid planning, the company falls apart. So both are important, not just one or the other, but both. Leadership works hand in hand with management. Management knows when to get out of the way to let leadership do its thing. And leadership knows when it is lacking what management can bring. I hope this helps you get a better idea of management versus leadership. And I hope this helps you understand a lot of the content that is out there that has demonized management as being the lesser of the two, because it is not. It is a complementary skill, and it is important that we as professionals possess an understanding of and ability of both management and leadership. I want to leave you with a few ideas about how to beef up your leadership and how to go a little bit deeper into management. Management has a very vivid presence in the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide from the Project Management Institute. And for many years, the focus in this book had been predominantly on managing projects, managing cost, managing schedule, managing resources. But as we began to open up new horizons and territories around the area of stakeholders, we realized that the word management wasn't cutting it. In fact, some process names were drastically changed from control to monitor for that reason. Control communications became monitor communications because we've got people involved. And leadership understands that control is a very harmful thing, especially when we link it to people. So it changed from control communications to monitor communications. It changed from control stakeholder engagement to monitor stakeholder engagement. So there needs to be an understanding of management and leadership. This book will help you get a better idea of management, of process, systems, cost, quality, resources, and the like. To learn more about leadership, I would highly recommend the book by John C. Maxwell. It's called The 360-Degree Leader. There's a second book, which is called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And the book that I talked about today, The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. These will help you embrace the idea of leadership, to understand it in an organic fashion, to learn examples. John is a great storyteller. There are many examples that he gives in the book that bring leadership to life, and they will better help you understand both of these in context. To learn more about our project management training and coaching, if you're a project manager or you work in business and you're looking for additional coaching, mentoring, and training, go to pmsucceed.com and look for the one-on-one coaching. I would like to help you move closer to your goals in management or leadership. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.